Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So, back here on Farmers Only Club, and just taking a peek around. I had not realized that Lomeric had posted some stuff for plowing, so I think I may have missed it, because yes, it looks like most of this has been plowed. So at this point, I guess, let me hop over to my farm. And I'm going to try to get something in the ground here again. The question is, do I keep doing the same thing I was doing and just keep throwing canola in there? And we're obviously going to have to weed, as we had talked about. So basically I need to plant and weed. So I could go ahead. I don't know, I'm just thinking canola might be a good option here. It works, I know how it goes, all of that stuff, and it's not as if I need to be doing anything, so I'm at 543. I'm pretty sure I'll be okay with getting other things taken care of. I kind of go around the edge of the fields here, see what that type of position is going through here. So I think if I go around the edges, like, it's going to save me a little bit of distance, maybe. But I just need to make sure I can do that without causing any problems. So yeah, I'm not sure. Looks like they've got field 34 plowed. Not really been watching to see if anything else comes up. I don't know that there's anything auction-wise that would really appear on our map, so there's probably just a very limited amount of benefit I can get. But yeah, it looks like... yeah, I want to head that way and get over to the main road. So I'm going to get fertilizer and seeds. The other news that's happening is the FM on Poppenberger that I've been working for has indicated that their plan is to go ahead and prestige, and then that obviously means they're going to be a small farm again, and they won't need farmhand help, and so forth. So, kind of a challenge to feel like I'm paying a lot of attention there, frankly, because it's a dead end type of thing. I mean, yeah, I could make a few bucks here and there, but they've clearly decided they're not looking at continuing on the way they are, so it seems to make more sense to me to give the limited time I have to Lomeric, even though it is at a lower rate than I'd be getting with the other individual. Because at this point, I think, well, now that I have the funds for the truck, which was really what was kind of driving a bit of, let me push myself beyond what I might be comfortable normally doing, and we'll get ourselves planting our canola. Just, as I've said, it's one of those where I'm just kind of following what I was doing, not really a reason not to, and this is kind of a little bit of the downside of Farming Simulator, I guess, is that without a reason, it gets really easy to get into, like, hey, I'm doing the same thing. But what I don't want to be doing is creating a lot of extra work right now until I really have an understanding of what is going to be possible. I did get a little bit of... I spent a lot of time in Farming Simulator over, not really the last few days, but the last week. certainly, in that. And yes, I do realize I've got a little bit here, but it just means I'm off a little on the field direction. That's okay. I'm probably just going to leave that edge as it is, because it's going to be a few liters, and it's just not worth it, and I am tight on time. So it makes for a challenge. But yeah, what I was doing is I have started up, I finished up the VIP series, the first season through at Riverview, and spent, well, a long time, probably a good day or two, looking at maps, thinking things through, figuring out what I wanted to do, what I could come up with. And so eventually I found something, and I've spent a lot of time getting going on season 2, to the point that I've got 5 episodes plus a 6th that I was calling episode 0, kind of done and scheduled out on the channel already. But because of how much is happening there, I'm actually doing that series, at least initially, more frequently, to maybe get people interested and so forth. And so they've been coming out more than once a week. I just don't know if that's going to be my sustained direction or not. But in general, I'm thinking I'm kind of backing off on the Poppenberger help, because that has been a big suck of time, and knowing that he's no longer really committed to continuing there kind of makes it hard to commit as a farmhand as well, to be blatantly honest. So I suppose I'd hate to send the message that him letting us know changed behavior, but it did, somewhat. Because honestly, I was already telling him, like, I might not get on, and before he gave us things, I had missed 2 or 3 opportunities, other than I think I got an hour or 2 in. So that's what helped a little bit, getting myself up here. I'm half tempted if I want to go ahead and try to purchase the truck to just make sure I have everything, because obviously I'm consuming money as I go. I mean, I need to do that, but what I could determine is, do I want to plant more than one field or not? So let me go do that as I go up and down the field. So we're going to kind of jump into that once I turn around. I'm going to grab the trailer first, and I think I'm just going to get it at its base size, which is going to save me a little bit of money, because once again I can then always upgrade if I need to. But right now I don't have enough fields that I really need the 150,000 capacity. I think the default capacity is like 120, which is more than adequate. So let me get this going in this row here. Alright, so here it is, and yes, it's 120 to begin with. Nothing costs anything. That's always the best way to do it. Alright, here we go. We'll purchase that. I knew I had to be getting close to the end of the field. It was taking me a while to get things configured. I was trying to get the license plate on it and so forth. So we've got that. And then I just need to figure out a tractor that I want. And again, I think it just makes sense to get something that's a bit bigger. You know, one of the large ones that folks have, because then I can go ahead and really, like I said, be kind of prepared. I'm not quite sure what the difference is between any of these So you can do the extension 485. Let's see. So if I go all the way up, and then definitely don't need GPS on a truck. But let's see. If I make this 005, and we'll put the plates on the front and back. And let's see. If I do the main color, that would be cool. So we'll do that. And that was my issue, is I knew capping that truck out was going to be over 250, and I'm like, I may be really close. So yeah, the 50,000 I would need to get the trailer up to the full size, I don't have it. But at this point, I have what I need for a setup, so at some point I'm going to have to go and get that truck and just get it down here. But I think, you know, it's also simpler if I'm working with someone on the server here. So I think the other thing, now that I think about it, as I'm trying to get my head back into the space of what happened and why didn't I check stuff with Lomeric, I had gotten in here, if you remember, to plant his cotton, and had sent him a note about it doesn't look like I can use AI, so I'm only going to get as far as I can. And again, I think I was able to play an hour that day, and that's all I was able to do for him. So not hearing back from him at that point was interesting, because I figured he'd at least acknowledge, yeah, as an FM, I know I can't give you that capability, or yeah, I can do it. And since I hadn't heard anything back, I think it was like, well, maybe he's just not going to have me continue, because basically part of the discussion about whether I was here or not was, you know, he had asked, like, yeah, I think he had made a comment, yes, it's all coming back to me now. It's been a while, and like I said, work's gotten crazy, and so I've had less headspace for enjoyable things like this. But he had mentioned that he was thinking about planting sugar beets to just provide a different crop for the channel, and I came back and said, well, you know, I have done root crops for someone else, you know, and it's not like folks are expecting a lot of variety in crops here. Like, I've got root crop stuff, so my thing was, unless you really want to do it, because I can't commit that I'm going to be able to be there to do the work anyway, so like I may get no footage, you know, then I wouldn't do it on my account, because I can't promise you that I'm going to be available. And so you know, there kind of was no response to all of that. And so, you know, and also in the process of it, he had mentioned something about, you know, because I know you're looking for the work or whatever, and I just kind of felt a little bit like maybe he was still just trying to help me out by giving me work, but that he'd rather not deal with the farmhand thing. So I did kind of get a response on that piece where he said, no, I still could use help on the farm, but there was definitely a bit of disconnectedness that's happened, kind of, you know, with the break that had occurred with him going on vacation and so forth, and just really not everybody being that engaged here and so forth. So yeah, it looks like I'm trying to figure out, because I don't think I ran that stripe, so I don't know if someone had done something on the field accidentally, maybe from field 34, but doesn't really matter. But it's just an interesting little thing. I don't remember anything that I would have done that would have caused that stripe to be there. So in any event, that's kind of a jumbled explanation of what's been going on in my world and where I'm at. So I do want to stay active in FOC, but it is becoming challenging given the real life, the tugs from real life that I've got going on that obviously I can't ignore. It'd be kind of stupid to be... Yes, I can play Farming Simulator all the time because I don't have a job anymore. That would be foolish. So, obviously I need to do the focus that I need to provide there, and I don't think anybody would be concerned about that. But I'm also trying to be aware with everybody that I don't want to be a problem or cause an issue with their plans and so forth. I guess, it kind of just popped in my head. I guess the confusion and the thing that really threw me for a loop with the discussion with Lomaric was just the fact that I had been upfront with him and said, like, I'd give you notice that I was leaving and that I wouldn't just vanish. And so the fact that I hadn't done anything like that, but that it led to, well, are you still playing in FOC? And all of that, it just, I think that just all confused me. Like, I thought I had been pretty clear and I had made it pretty simple. Like, yes, if you're not interested, obviously let me know. Kind of like we're getting the notice from the Poppenberger guy. I think he's saying he might play 4 more years, which in theory is like a little bit over a month. But like I said, if I have time, I will certainly go do some things there. But it falls to the bottom of the priority list at this point. There's still a little bit of a drive here where it's like, all right, I've only got $43,000 now, so, and I don't think I have any cash sitting out in my bank account that I had gotten paid for something. I do have whatever it is, the hour or two that I worked for Lomaric, so I do have, $10,000, $15,000 maybe, but I should be okay with the $43,000 I have, because the only thing I have to purchase is just more seeds and fertilizer to get all this work done. And so I don't think it's going to be that substantial, but what I may do, I'm half contemplating just maybe planting this field and letting that be my crop this year. See how I feel when I go through things, because even today I've got like an hour or two that I can be in here, and so initially I thought I'd be plowing and I might not even plant, and had already kind of been going down the path of there might be another year that I don't do anything on my farm. But now that I have some time, I'd like to get it going, but I don't know that I want to spend the time to go ahead and plant both fields, at least today. So maybe what I'll do is I'll plant this today, because again I need to go and weed, because we did run that test back before, and so I know what that situation is. So I need to go ahead, that was the last harvest, obviously, that I did, where I left that little corner of the field and did not run the weeder over it after I had planted. And then the next day when the weeds showed up, I was able to eliminate some of the weeds, but not all. And so I did determine that the weeding sequence needs to be kind of plant and weed at the same time. And so doing that is going to take me some time anyway. So that will be the plan. And then maybe what I'll do is, if I look at the calendar, like I can still plant stuff through May. So I've got a couple days, and I might have time on one of those days to pop back in, and maybe I'll either plant the same thing or plant it later. And again, then I could still do the harvest, like as long as I do a crop that would be ready before the end of the season, which I think they all would be. But if I do that, I could always harvest like on the last day in November or whatever, and harvest both fields, and that should be okay with the harvester I've got and so forth. So that's the plan. So I will go ahead and do that. You've obviously seen me get the truck, so I think we're okay there. And that is what I have for you at this time. So short and sweet to some degree, although I did babble on for a bit. But I will go and do what I need to here. Alright, late in the day, as I said, very limited time to do things. It took me literally all day to find enough time to plant and weed this field, so definitely not touching 36 right now. I did also determine, took a peek, I did have some more funds that I had gotten paid for, so this is every dollar I have. We're going to go ahead and add a couple things to the farm here. So I need to be able to repair things, and I think what I'm going to do is I am going to kind of near the road, you know, as I come in type of thing, just set these up here. So that'll go there, and then we've got a washing station too that we can just put nearby, and that should give us a pretty good layout here so that I can do everything I need for my equipment, and not leaving everything kind of messed up and having to run up to the shop and so forth. Still debating if I want to get a supply silo of some sort. You know, now, speaking of, I do need to go get the truck that's up at the store, so let me go do that. Because the seeds right now are kind of the problem, but I only have to go up and down a couple times, but if I could stop doing that, that would certainly be nice. Oh, I guess I was doing it from the side and I'm not lined up very well. I'm like, I know this works, because I'm pretty sure this is a similar setup to what the other folks had. But yeah, at this point, feeling much better about where I'm at. I've got a truck. I was hoping I could buy the repair station, and then I was like, oh no, I've only got like 39,000 and it takes 30,000. Certainly wasn't worried about the wash station, but then realized I had $93,000 that hadn't been moved into the server yet. So that was excellent. That really helps. This isn't one that has a Jake brake I can turn on and off that I'm aware of, but it doesn't seem as incredibly loud as the others. So I was a little worried with what I was buying if I was getting in a really bad spot, but I think I'm in good shape here. So I think I'm going to park this over by the silo, because that's kind of the logical thing. So what I'm thinking is over here by the field, over on that far side, I think, where the trees are, is where I would start putting up sheds and stuff to store my equipment eventually. So that's why I put the repair and all of that over there. I don't think I want to be adding things to the end of field 36. Plus that also kind of ends up, as far as repair and wash, it ends up in the center section of my farm right now. So I think it's in good shape there. Last time I was on, that person had grass on their field. I don't know if it's just laying there from last time and they just aren't doing things and haven't been present, or has it, processed a couple times. But in any event, now we'll have this over here on our farm. So that'll be good. But we have nothing in our silo. Obviously, we're going to have the spraying in this, so I'm going to have to fertilize. And I think that should be it. At this point, I've weeded. But that will be what I need to do later. But just wanted to kind of give you those. Interesting. So I can't jump to the other workshop and whatever, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to at least wash my tractor up. I'll wash up the rest later. I mean, obviously I'll wash up the weeder since it's with me, but so, obviously I got to go get gas eventually, but that's not too terribly bad, I don't think. So let's see. All right, that's close enough, so that's good. But this was really the thing that made it difficult, because I wasn't repairing except when I was ready to go get gas, and in some cases that was just a lot. But now we can tidy up our equipment, and I can look like I actually am doing something here. I could probably get some base sheds in, but not sure I want to get myself spent down to nothing just yet. So I think I'll take that as it is, but at this point, that is what we've got. So hope you've enjoyed this. Hope you're enjoying following along on the journey. If you've liked this video and found it entertaining in some way but haven't hit the like button, I'd appreciate it if you would do that to help with the spread of the video to other folks so that we can get more activity in the community and in the channel. And another way you can do that is if you could go ahead and subscribe. That would be terrific, and that will help me get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So looks like Lomeric's here, so I am going to chat with him, but I will see you next time.